So what I have up here today is a virtual aspirin synthesis experiment, and this is offered for free through the Royal Society of Chemistry, and you can go ahead and Google this and access it for free. But you can also visit the link that I have in the description as well if you want a direct link to it. So this is something that we integrated into our Introduction to Chemistry course actually at LAPU, just because it is a really good experiment. It shows aspirin synthesis, and it goes through chemistry's role in developing drugs and a few really good just real life applications, especially in something like chemistry where students may not be able to see exactly all of the applications and how chemistry plays a role in everyday things. So I'm sure somebody who's very well versed in chemistry can give a better explanation than I can. But anyway, this lab is very fun and interactive, and it's an opportunity for students to actually conduct aspirin synthesis and get real values as they do so, and go through the entire experiment as if they were performing it at home themselves, just in a virtual setting. And the pros of this are that it's easily accessible. As long as you have an internet connection, you should be able to access this whole experiment and walk through the process of the aspirin synthesis steps and finding the values and all of those things. It's no cost. There are some virtual labs that do have a minimal cost, but this one actually doesn't have a cost at all, and students do not have to purchase any lab kit or any technology to conduct the experiment. So that's obviously a pro. And another pro is that as you go through, which I'll click through some of the steps right now, so just bear with me as this loads, you will go through different levels of this experiment as the different steps of the lab are completed. So each level is accompanied by a video, and as you can see down here, there are points available, so it's really fun. It's almost gamified. I wouldn't quite call this gamification because it's lab based, and it's not really like it's not like choose your own path or anything like that, but it does really allow students to engage with some of this content. So you would go ahead and watch the video here. You can make it bigger. You can, let's see, there's captions. You can download it. You can make it go faster or slower, but it explains what aspirin is, how it was invented, and how we have come to use it today. So it's a great option there. And then, we watched the video. That's awesome. We got 100 points. And my next point is here with this particular lab and the program that it uses, it tracks the students' progress. And as they go through each step, whether or not they watched the video, passed the quiz, did everything that was necessary to complete the lab. And here, which I don't know if this is exactly the most accessible way to do this, but they actually do have a drag and drop for some of these questions to check your knowledge. So I'm just going to drag and drop some of these and check. Oh no, looks like those two were wrong and our points went down. So that's obviously bad. We don't want that. Oh, happened again. Let's see. Heart disease, maybe that's the right answer. Cool. So we got that. And then I'll just show you when you review the lab book, this shows all the steps that the students will take. And then at the end, they download a PDF, and this is actually what students will submit. That's at least how we set it up. But you could definitely go many ways. You could just have the student go through the process and then reflect on it or something like that, just depending on your goals and what you would like the student to actually do. So this one here, we haven't completed a lot of these things, but anyway, the student would go through the process and then download this lab notebook and submit this. So this is just one option of a virtual lab that we have integrated into our chemistry course. There are so many options out there, and you can even, there's nothing really stopping you from creating your own lab, just depending on what your needs are. You could do this through a variety of ways, of videos. If you do have gamification software, if you do have even like a PowerPoint type of thing or Canva, there are ways to complete it and offer a branching like scenario for students, which is a great option if you want to keep those costs down for students. I know that that's a big that can be a considerable cost and can be actually a barrier for access for some students if the cost is too high to purchase the lab kit or whatever supplies are needed. Since we are an online university at LAPU, that's something that we've definitely tried to cut down on, especially because at home, students will need to purchase specialized lab equipment. So that could mean a microscope or something that is very expensive, and they may not necessarily have a use for it after they've completed the course. And we definitely want to limit that and make sure that we are not asking students to spend an incredible amount out of pocket just to complete assignments for one course. So I think virtual labs are a great opportunity to kind of mitigate that issue, regardless of if you're an online university or not. The second lab that I have here for you is the Fly Lab. And I'll put the link in the description as well, but if you Google Fly Lab, this is actually a lab to help students learn about genetics, and they can customize what their flies look like. So let's say we want to change some of these things here. Wing shape, eye shape, wing angle, body color. Let's see, did we get them all? Okay. And let's see, that's what our fly here looks like. And select fly for mating, design this fly. We'll just change a few things here. And as you can see, this one is, the options are a lot fewer because we've already kind of selected some of the things that the other fly would, the other fly's phenotype, I think it is. So it's limited based on what you select for your first fly. And so you would mate, and you would see, okay, here are the first mating flies. Here is the next group of offspring, and then you could decide from there which ones you would want to mate. Again, if you do want to, or you can take a closer look. You can add the image to the lab notes if you want. Each of these offspring actually do have they do tell you all of the specific genes that are linked to them as well, so you can see what you chose for your first two flies transfer down to their offspring, and you can go from there as well, selecting them to mate or what have you. Again, I'm sure somebody much more versed in science and biology could give a better explanation. But my point is, this actually gives the students the ability to play with some of those genes and see how they translate to future generations as well. And I'm sure that they could find connections between certain genes and all of those wonderful things. And then you can also go back and you can start over or clear it out if you do want to test different things. You can analyze here the results. You can add these results to your lab notes. You can include a hypothesis here with what you think the outcomes will be. And then let's see here. I'll just add a couple things. I'll just put hi there. You can export as a web page. You can, let's see. Let's add this to notes. And we could export it again just to see what it looks like. So this is what your lab notes would look like. And you can submit this, or you can ask students to print it or download it if this is something that you would like to have turned in, or just as part of their lab report or reflection or whatever requirements you would like to give students. Again, this was just a brief example of a virtual lab. There are so many more out there. And if you just Google virtual labs, there are some great labs out there that really, again, cut down on costs. They're easily accessible, easy to understand. They give you the lab notes and the different things that you'd probably want to see for assessment anyway. And they're just a really great option, especially if you want students to complete something virtually, or if you are an online university, then it makes it easier to conduct some of these experiments. So anyway, I think that rounds out our episode for today. Thank you so much for listening. This episode was sponsored by the MSIDT program, or the Master of Science in Instructional Design and Technology that we have here. If you want to learn more about designing experiences like this, such as virtual labs or courses in general, this is the program for you. Every single course, you get to create an artifact that you are passionate about and that you can connect to your passions or current work as well. So this is an awesome opportunity to kind of connect your passions and learn more about virtual labs and building them and grow your skills from that end, if that's something that you're interested in. If you'd like more information, you can go ahead and scan the QR code or give us an email at msidt@lapu.edu. Thank you so much for listening, and don't forget, this is what learning feels like.